Got it.
Good morning, Toastmasters and potential Toastmasters. Welcome to Wake Up with Toastmasters. I am your Club Growth Director for District 115, Ken Richardson. With me today is my intrepid co-host, distinguished Toastmaster and past District Governor, Phyllis Tribby. How are you doing this morning, Phyllis?
I am doing great. Hello, everyone in our viewing area, and good morning, Ken. How are you doing today?
That's great. Thank you for asking. I'm just looking at our Facebook page to make sure everything is posted.
Yes, we want lots of comments today. Questions. We need questions.
Yes, indeed. We need questions and we need participants. So let me just put a note in here.
We're going to play Stump the Host. Give us questions.
The answer, I'll bet you Phyllis does. So good morning, everyone. As I mentioned, we are going to continue our exploration today of the TI website. And if you were with us yesterday, and of course I've got to reload that. If you were with us yesterday, you note that we were exploring Leadership Central, and we talked about some of the tools that are under there and with a focus on the brand portal. And we had some really interesting comments about the brand portal and about the corporatization, I guess I would call it, of Toastmasters. So I think that's an interesting discussion, and we may have a roundtable discussion about that topic going forward. But for now, we are going to continue that exploration. Let me load up my Facebook page, and I'll tell you the reasons that I want to do that. Is under Leadership Central, we saw that you have club officer tools, which we can explore again, and brand portal, but speech contests. I want to go there for a minute. And the reason I want to do that is because we have speech contest season coming up, really starting early next year. We will be holding club contest, evaluation, and international speech contests. And we will be looking for venues. We will be looking for participation. And all of that will culminate in the District 115 convention. And that meeting will be held on May 14th. I know that Carol Campbell, our district director, is in the process of firming up a venue, and we'll have some announcements about that. But the reason I want to explore this, and hopefully you can see this okay, it looks like it's posting just fine.
Yeah, looks good.
All right, excellent. The reason I want to explore this is because this is pretty much all you'll need to know to conduct a contest. And of course, on our D115 website, we also have a document about being the chairperson of a contest, and it's about 25 pages, step-by-step guide. But anyway, to get us started, I want to look over here on the left side, my left side of the screen, the areas of focus. So we have speech contest rule book that's free to download, and you should do that every year. If you're saying, oh, I've got one from last year, that's not going to work because they update it every year. It's constantly changing. So once a year, when speech contest season rolls around, you want to make sure that you download the most recent version of the rule book. And then there are frequently asked questions. That's very helpful. We'll take a look at some of these. Online speech contests, which have their own unique challenge. And this year, we're going to be holding our contests in person. At the district council meeting when was that, Phyllis, July or August? The district council voted to hold all our contests in person. And the reason we had to do that so early on was the request from Toastmasters that we make a decision. And it did leave us with an option. If local conditions change, we can go to online if we needed to do so. But a lot of the folks that I've talked to are just thrilled that we're having an opportunity to get back together in person, and the speech contest is a good way to get that going. So there is a separate section here for online speech contests. Then it talks about the regional, and then there's our tutorials we'll take a look at, and the World Championship. But first, I want to, anything to add to that before we dive into this rule book a little bit?
Well, we might well mention that if you've picked online contests, you cannot change to in person. If you have in person, you can change to online, as you say, if they feel because of the medical problems that would be best. And once the district makes their decision, then it has to follow through for area and division and the district. So we will all be in person this season.
Well, thank you for pointing that out. You're absolutely right, Phyllis. One of the quirks that I don't quite understand their rationale at Toastmasters International was that if you decide to go online, you cannot change your decision. But if you decide to go in person, you could, if there were extenuating circumstances unique to your local environment. For example, here in Nevada, we still have a mask mandate, but we don't have the lockdown that we did have in previously. So there's, even though we'll be wearing masks, there's no prohibition against meeting in person, and there are no size limitations that I'm aware of.
Right.
But you're right, we could switch if we needed to. But if you selected online, you didn't have that option. And a lot of people don't realize just who the district council is. The district council consists of the top leadership for the district. So it's the trio plus the area directors, division directors, and then the additional of the presidents and vice presidents of education for all our clubs. So it's a rather large group that meets a couple of times a year to vote on issues that are relevant to our district, including who our leadership will be. Having said that, let's take a quick look at this contest rule book, and you'll recognize, of course, it's in the resource library, and it does come in a number of different languages. And I thought I set that to English, but apparently not. Here we go. This is the 2021 speech contest rule book, and you'll notice it's in effect, and this is important for you when you're looking at this, July 1, 2021 through June 30, 2022. So it is certainly current, and you want to make sure that you have the current. And we'll just take a quick look at this. It's a rather lengthy document. Can you still see the?
It's a little small, but it's, yes, you can see it.
Let me see if I can bring this up for you.
There we go.
How's that? Is that
Well,
better?
I won't be able to read anything in it, but yes, that's good.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to go over the table of contents so you can get an idea of what kind of information you can find here. And you can see on the cover, there is our winner last year, Mike Carr, who won the, let's see, that was the 2020 International World Championship of Public Speaking. And then again, confirming the date, so we're good through June 30, 2022. So again, I'm not going to go over all of this. I just want to give you a sense of what's there. Can you see that okay, Phyllis? Is that
Yes.
reasonable? Because I can make it a little bit bigger if I need to. All right, so you'll have your typical introduction and your speech contest rules, and it's broken down general rules for all contests, and then it goes to each type of contest. Because you know, in Toastmasters, we are required to conduct an international speech contest every year. And the district winner of that contest goes on to compete in the regionals and then the semifinals and the finals, hopefully the top 10. And that meeting this year will be in August in Nashville, Tennessee. So we have to have an international contest, but the district council votes on what is that second contest going to be. We've had humorous, we've had tall tales. This year, the council voted to have an evaluation contest. So we will be focusing on those two contests going forward, and those two contests we will conduct. So each type of contest will have some unique features that are detailed here in the rule book. Then the other nice thing that's here is there's, of course, table topics, tall tales, humorous, evaluation, international, and video speech contest. There are checklists for different participants in the contest. For example, the contest chair, there's a checklist, the chief judge checklist, and the contestants checklist. So regardless of your role, whether you're a Toastmaster, a timer, a judge, a chief judge, you will want to take a look at this document, and even contestants will want to take a look. There's a listing of materials and then additional resources. Any comments about this year's edition of the rulebook, Phyllis, that you'd like to share with our audience?
Additions?
Anything else?
Well, I will say that there is a location where you can go and find all the changes, what the rule book read last year and how it now reads. And that's a great thing to go to see what your changes are, and be sure that you're up on all the changes that happened.
That's a really good point, Phyllis. Do you remember where that is on
I was just going to say, is it under the additional information?
Oh, in the contest rulebook itself?
Yeah, as I say, I have read it, but I was looking here on my desk to see if I could find what the title was.
Okay, let me go down to the end of it and see if that's where it is. Where are we here? No, these are the checklists and the materials here, and then additional resources.
I'm looking at, I have a rule book downloaded,
Okay.
and printed. So I was just looking there.
Yeah, it's not in the rule book. I don't know where that is this year. Maybe it's under frequently asked questions. Let's take a look
Could
there.
be.
Let's go back. So just to refresh everyone, we're under Leadership Central, and then we're on Speech Contest. We've just looked at the rule book. Another area that you'll want to check will be frequently asked questions. And you can see here, these are the questions that have been submitted to TI most frequently. Are the speech contests taking place in person or online? We've already discussed that. What are the guidelines? Can we change our selected contest format? We talked about that. Reaction buttons, some of the more technical things. And let's see, I don't see any comparisons. Yeah, I don't see any comparisons, but these 20 or so questions that are frequently asked are something that if you are the contest chair, or if you are a contestant or performing a role as in the contest, you'll probably want to make sure you go through here and take a look. The other thing that I found really helpful, I don't want to talk too much about the quarterfinals at this point. That's for a future program, or the World Championship at this point. But I do want folks to look at, in just a minute, the tutorials. And if you click on that, you'll see different, like here's a judge's guide and ballot. This is a video. Whoops. Okay, that gives you an idea of what's under there, that you can see these various tutorials. Let me see. So you have judge's guide and ballot, overview and roles. This is a really good one that tells you about the various roles. You're going to have a Toastmaster, you're going to have a Sergeant at Arms, And of course, with an evaluation contest, you're likely to have more than one sergeant at arms because you're going to sequester the contestants for them to work on an evaluation, and you'll need a sergeant at arms there to guide that process and to supervise that process. And you'll need another sergeant at arms to keep the main room under control. You know how rowdy those Toastmasters can get. But if you are involved in any way in a contest, I highly recommend these brief tutorials. They're just a few minutes long, but you'll get like a judge's guide and ballot, overview and roles, and when you are the judge. Anything else here that you feel we need to look at, Phyllis, or do you have any comments? I know you love contests as I do. So what comments do you have before we take a look at some other options under Leadership Central?
I would tell people to volunteer. First, give a speech. If you don't win the speech contest, then volunteer at your area level. Wherever you are at in that speech contest, you are going to grow. You're going to learn something. You're going to become more confident. So take a chance, volunteer, be a contestant. If you don't win your club contest, then be a volunteer at the area and the division. Go for it, learn something, and that's the place to do it. You want to get out of your little club atmosphere into the next playing field, which is the area, and see what's out there. You might want to be an area director the next year once you see what's happening.
That is a really good point. We all need to help each other in Toastmasters, and volunteering in a contest is a great way to do it. We do have a question here. I see that Jennifer Smith has joined us, and she says, does that mean that clubs that are online and not hybrid cannot compete? I don't think that's the case, because here we're really talking, let me just double check that. I'm going to go back here to frequently asked question. Are they taking place in person or online? And try to answer Jennifer's question. Let me just get to the chase here. The format selected by the District Executive Committee with the District Council and communicated is the only format in which contests may be held at the area, division, and district level. So in answer to your question, Jennifer, if clubs do at that club level an online speech contest, they are not, that's okay, because this says specifically that your selection for format, being in person, must be at the area, division, and district level. Hybrid contests are not an option. In-person contests cannot be broadcast, as this is considered hybrid. So that's, I found it a little bit odd. But once you get to the area and up, area, division, district, everything will be in person for District 115. Did I read that correctly, Phyllis?
Well, what I would say to more clearly understand what she's asking us is that the hybrid clubs or the all-in online clubs have their contests as usual, but their contestant that they send to the area must be willing to appear in person.
Yes.
And so it's leaving out the members that are out of our district, that are not willing, like California might drive over. But if you have members that are like from Australia, they're not going to come. So your contestant has to be willing to appear in person.
Yes, thank you for clarifying that. That makes sense. And although I don't agree with that decision, it seems to me that we ought to be able to at least live stream the contest. But hard to argue with our good friends up there in Colorado. Okay, anything else we need to go over here? Any other questions in our webpage? I think we're in good shape here. Don't see anything. I think, okay, I got a thanks from Jennifer, so I think she heard and
Okay.
we answered her questions sufficiently. Now, before we move on and look at some other things, is there anything else I've forgotten under contests that you want to talk about, Phyllis?
No, I don't think so. I think that this in-person ruling this time, either or ruling this time is going to be big for most clubs.
I think so, and you're absolutely right. It gets down to comfort level for folks, and we hope that people, because I have heard from a lot of people that they sort of have Zoom fatigue, and they would like and appreciate the opportunity to get back together in person. Other folks have the exact opposite opinion, so it will be a challenge this year as we go forward. But I want all of our clubs to know that the trio and the area directors and the division directors and all of the administration of the district, we are here to help you, and you need only ask. So that being said,
Yeah.
reach out to us.
One more thing to say about the district leadership and all those that vote. It's like the ruling comes from international. We can't change how they feel about it, what they want us to do. We can only give them our feedback, and perhaps it will change in the future. But right now, these are the rulings that international has set for the district to follow.
Again, very good suggestions. Send an email or a letter to TI and express your opinions and views of the rulings that they make. And if you'll see up here, I don't know if you can see on at the top of my banner where it says welcome Kenneth, there's a contact us. And I'll just go ahead and click on that for now since we're on this topic. And when you click on it, you're going to get a list of categories like the mailing address, visiting. Right now, they're not accepting visitors, but all of the emails of who you need to contact. Contact the board, bylaws and policy, election events, pathways, online tutorials, officers, you name it, there's an email that will help you to express your concerns to international, and they encourage participation. So that's under the contact tab. Let's go back to the Leadership Central tab for a minute. So we've talked about the brand portal, the speech contests. We've talked about, in a previous show, I think we talked about District Central. I want to wrap us up today by looking briefly at public relations. One of the things I want to mention for our viewers is that at our recent trio meeting, our public relations manager, Jennifer Smith, a wonderful lady, has suggested that all of our clubs send in testimonials. In other words, a little video about yourself and your club and what Toastmasters has done for you. And she is going to use that, post that on the various social media outlets that we have for the district, Facebook and Instagram, I think maybe Twitter and Meetup. And she will, that will help promote our clubs, generate interest in Toastmasters, and hopefully generate some new members for all of our clubs. So public relations, I thought, was a good way for us to sort of wrap up today's show. And it's under the Leadership Central tab, Club Officers Tools, Crossroads, and then Public Relations. This is really nice because, for example, it gives you a description of what public relations is and what the goals are. And then there are some helpful resources. So there's a training webinar video if you are looking to become the PRM, training slides, public relations manager responsibilities, and all of these things do translate to the club level for the VP PR. So I think they're very, very helpful. And in fact, this section here is about VPPR and logos, images, and templates. These are things that you can download, marketing products and materials. One of the things that I really think is quite useful if you're new to, you've never been to VPPR or you're not quite that familiar with marketing, is this handbook here. I'll show it briefly. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, Let the World Know, Publicity and Promotion Handbook. So this is another booklet that's about 59 pages, but when you get to the table of contents, let me just blow this up a bit. You can see it gives you an overview, creating an effective public PR program, PR basics, tactics to reach your target audience, leading a team, and then there's an appendix with things like brand guidelines that we've talked about, and resources, handouts, news releases, etc. So if you go to the website and you don't explore anything else and you're the VPPR, click on Let the World Know, download that booklet, and I think that you will find it tremendously useful and valuable as you start your journey or as you implement your responsibilities as the VPPR. Well, looks like we have about 4 minutes left. Phyllis, anything you want to say and as we wrap up today's show?
No, other than volunteer. We all need volunteers. Come on and speak to us. We're always looking for people that want to talk. Get your views out there. We'll allow you to say almost anything.
Yeah, we have to have a bleep button, I guess. So, but we expect everyone will, in fact, behave themselves. But we do encourage you, if you're interested in coming on Wake Up with Toastmasters, you want to promote your club and tell us about your club, send me an email at d115cgd@gmail.com. And if you have questions about the video promotion that our public relations manager is engaged in involving your club, and you want to know how to get involved, please send me an email and we will make a connection. Now, remember that Wake Up with Toastmasters is on 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, from 6 a.m. to 6:30, always looking for guests or topics that you'd like for us to examine and explain. And then coming up next year, January 1st, believe it or not, is a Saturday, and that will be game night. So if you're interested in registering for that, go to your newsletter or go to the d115tm.org website, click on the newspaper page, and you can find the registration link to register for game night. We have the Toastmasters Learning Institute in person coming up on June 8th. Information for that is also on our district website. And that will be the same night where we will have educational enrichment. It's been a real pleasure chatting with everyone today. Thank you for your questions.
Let's put a plug in for our Thursday show. Will you be here tomorrow?
Yes, I'm going to be here with Jennifer Smith tomorrow. And let's see, I don't know what
I know Thursday,
yeah.
I'll be back and our guest will be Dana Wall Oakley. She should be very interesting to talk with.
Yes, Dana has had a great experience in Toastmasters. She's always a pleasure. She is currently an area director, so we'll get to hear about that.
Second time?
Yes, and club officer. I think she might be president of authors and aspiring authors.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong about that, but she'll tell us all about her experience as a Toastmasters and her club. Let me just check here. Okay. Oh, I forgot LinkedIn. Thank you, Jennifer. So that's the other area where many of these videos will be posted. And you know, the list of media outlets just overwhelms me at times when you start talking about Facebook and LinkedIn and TikTok and Instagram. I'm only a marginally capable at managing all of that social media, but Jennifer is our expert. And yes, Jennifer, I did listen to your rant last night, and I've already sent out a request to all of our area directors and division directors. that's going to do it for us for today. I look forward to seeing Jennifer Smith here tomorrow, and then we'll be back this Thursday and Friday. Have a great day, everyone, and thank you for joining Wake Up with Toastmasters. Bye-bye.
Have a great day.